Welcome back to another episode of Chelsea Wrote My Notes. I'm kidding. Welcome back to another episode of Sips and Spirits.
A podcast for lovers of both alcoholic and spectral kinds. And that was our old tagline.
Was it?
Yeah, it's a podcast for lovers of both alcoholic and spectral spirits.
Oh, okay.
A little less wordy.
Little.
I'm sure anyone listening is like, it doesn't sound
There's something different to me when you first said it.
So I am one of your co-hostess, Chelsea.
When you say hostess,
Yes.
Sounds like we're both hostess. Anyway.
Well, I am the hostess, but you were the host.
And I'm the co-host, Eric. A little disclaimer before we get started. Facts and stories presented are from various sources. We make no claims that these tales are true. We just want it to be spooky and interesting.
Exactly. And cocktails and spirits are tasted for the first time unless noted otherwise during an episode recording. As for this episode, I'm mixing up all the lines because I'm in this weird position today. I don't know what's up. Anyways, for this episode, it is one of our cryptid cocktail series specials. What do you say? What do I normally say?
This is one of our cryptid episodes.
So we usually make a cocktail to share with you guys related to the cryptid card that gets pulled. So we have tried this particular cocktail for this episode.
Multiple times.
That's what I'm trying to say.
And one more thing. We want to remind you that it's fine to enjoy the spirits, but don't let them possess you. We may be a drinking podcast, but we strongly encourage that you drink responsibly. As much as we love you guys enjoying the cocktails, there's never any pressure to consume them at all.
Exactly. All right, so let's jump into our cryptid. As you guys know, if you've been with us for a while, we had a handful of friends at Midsummer Scream draw our cryptids, and Spooky Melanin Magic, also known as Bianca, pulled this next card. So we're going to go ahead and play that bit for you right now.
I have the Loch Ness Monster, a.k.a. Nessie. I love a good Nessie. Oh, that's so cool. Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
So there we have it. If you didn't guess from the episode title, Bianca pulled the Loch Ness Monster. And yeah, we're very excited. This is a cryptid that we are both very familiar with.
Yes.
It is one of the more popular cryptids out there. I feel like when you throw out cryptid examples, Nessie is usually one of the samples given.
When you first say the word cryptid, people haven't, especially those who don't know what it means, don't really get it, and then we start throwing things like Bigfoot, and Yetis, and then Loch Ness Monster. Oh,
right.
I feel like once you get to Loch Ness Monster, it's like, oh, okay.
I feel like the big three is Bigfoot, Mothman, and Nessie, and by Nessie, people are like, I got it.
I feel like Mothman is more like a what's I'm looking for. Not cultural, but
he's gotten more pop culture-y.
Yeah, pop culture kind of thing. But yeah. So
I feel like there's more of a rising for.
Yeah, for sure.
For him as of late.
But anyway, let's cheers to this.
Yeah, let's cheers to this lovely cocktail.
And,
actually, that was pretty good. So yummy, and we're so excited. On May 19th, which is a Friday evening, we would love for you guys to come join us 5:00 Pacific time, 8:00 Eastern time, to taste test this cocktail with Bianca. She'll be joining us on Instagram Live, and we're so excited to have her.
Yes.
And connect with her once again and give this cocktail a try. And if you guys are interested, by the time you're hearing this episode, it should give you enough time to collect all those ingredients. Now, there seem to be a handful of ingredients, but they're all pretty easy to get a hold of no matter where you are, which is wonderful.
Wonderful. Congratulations to the following guesses. Harvest Witch Home,
also known as Mackenzie Louise.
She guessed Nessie for this. And Stimmin' Kittens are
Hilda of Shenanigans in Motion.
She also guessed Loch Ness Monster.
Yep.
Kind of thing. So thank you both for participating.
Yes.
If you guys want to get shouted out on our episodes for cryptids, make sure that you answer during the Guess Who post. You can always also email us on our website, And
we'll have more details on that when we drop the next Cryptid Guess Who.
Yeah,
So later on in this episode.
But yeah.
And while we're on it, a little special treat within our glass, or should I save that for our cocktail things? Okay, I'll hold on. You'll notice there's some little goodies hidden inside our glass.
Goodies inside.
Maybe you can't see it in the video, but we'll probably see it in YouTube.
Eventually.
So let's go into our Hauntings Behind the Bar, babe.
Hauntings Behind the Bar. So as of as of recording this episode, we've just come back from our
Disneyland
family trip to Disneyland, and that was quite a different experience.
Having kids, he means.
Kids, yes.
Because we used to go, there was a point where we were driving from Northern California to Southern California, like once a month to go hang out.
Just to go. And it was a lot cheaper than back then also. But also easier without kids. But what I'm saying more is like, when we in Chelsea go out to Disneyland, it's very relaxed. We have like 3 rides that we'd like to go into. And if we get to them, fantastic. If we don't get to them, oh well.
We're like, so if we don't catch the rides, but we catch the Dapper Dans, awesome.
Yeah, kind of
if we don't make it into Blue Bayou, but we get a little treat at Jolly Holiday, works for us too.
Yeah, kind of thing.
Like we really take,
kind of thing.
We're not the ride or die kind of Disneyland goers. We don't need to hit every single ride while we're there. Like, let's make the most of our time. We're like, no, there's so much going on that it's okay to just sit there and soak it in, which is, like, I can't speak for you, but it's definitely my preference. And I think
for sure.
You don't force me to go beyond that, so I'm guessing you enjoy it too.
Yeah, and with the little ones, it was trying to kind of like keeping that same idea of like, let's not force them to like just stand in line and line kind of thing. Let's see how it actually goes. So we did get quite a few rides with them.
Yep. And we rode the Haunted Mansion twice per request of our littles.
Yes.
So
we threw out the idea of like, what do you guys want to go? We got a spooky house. We have this and that. They all wanted to go to spooky house, so we went to it. It was only twice. I feel like it was 3 times.
We tried to do a third time, but we saw the wait time was 45 minutes, and Little Boo's cap was
there.
We're like, so we went to Disneyland to celebrate our son Little Boo's birthday, and we were like, we were gonna base all our activities off of how he was feeling. If he was done for the day, and it was 12 o'clock, we would go. We would leave.
We were done for the day.
Luckily, it didn't get to that. We'd usually leave about 6 o'clock each day. But yeah, so we were trying to kind of gauge how long was too long to stand in a line for. Because a lot of the lines, they say, oh, they're going to be 45 minutes. But if you're familiar with the rides, most of them actually go much faster than that. But we had like one ride where it definitely was a 45-minute wait, and that was just a little too long for our 3-year-old. Yeah. So we decided to go, if it's longer than 35 minutes, we're not going to wait in line. Yeah. I know that limits us a lot, but there was plenty to do. We walked onto quite a few rides, surprisingly.
A few of them were surprisingly like, oh, wait, there's no line here.
Like King Arthur's Carousel, I feel like every time we go, there's always a huge line for it. But this time we literally walked on. Yeah. So, it was a good experience, though. We saw some fun, spooky stuff. We actually invested in one of the magic bands. I had so much fun with that.
After a few times, I was saying, like, well, maybe we should get it.
We were like debating, like, oh, I don't know when's the next time we're gonna go back to Disneyland, because it was a big investment to do. This is like one of our big trips for 2023. Yeah. And we were like, well, you can only really use it in the parks. I don't know if it'd be worth paying $45 for a band that you can only use in one place. Yeah. And then we kept seeing people use it in different things. And I was like, okay. Eric convinced me. He was like, yeah, we should just go ahead and do it. Why not? And it was super cool. I loved, my favorite part was when you ride the Haunted Mansion at the end, when you're getting off and you pass the little bride, the band, it glows red and like does the thump thump.
It vibrates.
Like the heartbeat. So yeah, it's vibrating and it's glowing in time with the glowing heart. So I was like, oh, this is so cool. I wanted to keep riding the Haunted Mansion for that. Not like I don't already want to ride the Haunted Mansion all the time, but that was really fun.
That was very fun. No, for sure. And like it was not something you guys could do as often as a once a year situation. I wouldn't recommend the band, but I think we're planning to try to keep it at least once a year.
Yeah,
even
we
for like
left.
a
We
day.
were like, I don't know if we're gonna go anytime soon, and then we're like, when can we make a day trip happen again?
Yeah, and seeing how the kids reacted to that situation, like we can make it like a we drive down one day, spend the next day there, and come back the following day kind
Yeah.
of thing situation. We don't have to go for the full weekend. We can do it like by 1 day tickets kind of thing.
And I would say, yeah, we're Disney people, so that might not apply to everybody, but it worked for us.
We're Disney-ish,
Well,
Disney adjacent.
We enjoy Disney, and we can find the marvel and appreciation for a leisure day at Disney.
Yes, kind of thing.
So, if you think you might be in the same vein, it would be worth it. But if you're only doing your Disneyland trip once a year,
Once every couple years.
or if it's once every couple years, who knows if the Magic Band tech that they have right now is still going to be present
when you decide to go again.
years from now.
Kind of
So,
thing. But they're neat. They're cool designs kind of thing.
yeah, I got a
Haunted
Haunted Mansion.
Mansion.
Haunted Mansion one.
Mhm.
So, with the stretching portraits. So,
Yeah.
that was really cool.
Yeah.
And we found out, like, literally the days before we were planning to leave for our trip, that the Disney parks all throughout the world were doing their Halloween celebrations.
Yes.
So that was kind of unintentionally planned. So we were looking around. They had some, at least in Disneyland in California, the only things we really came across were like Halloween themed treats. Like they had like merchandise for Nightmare for Christmas, Haunted Mansion, those kinds of things, which are just like their standards in the park. We didn't see anything like particularly like merchandise wise for halfway to Halloween. But we did find the treats. We picked up these cute little jack-o'-lantern macarons.
Yeah, jack-o'-lantern was actually pretty good.
Yeah, we shared that on our Instagram feed if you guys are curious about that by the time this episode comes out.
Oh yeah, I was like,
Yeah, you're weird when we talk in the future,
I
right?
know, right? They had that. They had like a really like sugared out churro.
Yeah.
Like,
oh man,
it was so
it was like a candy pail drizzled onto a churro.
Kind
Is
of,
the best way I could
yeah.
describe
And
it.
then they had
They had Oogie Boogie Rice Krispie and a Jack Skellington cake pop,
Yeah,
and
they-
then a Minnie Mouse Witch candy apple.
yeah,
That was in Disneyland, California.
yeah.
Because I know when I say Disneyland, some people think I'm talking about Paris. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
so that was a fun trip.
it was fun.
We can't wait to go again and go do more fun stuff.
Yes, indeed. And then last episode, if you guys missed it, we talked about spooky family specials, and we asked you guys directly, hey, are there any family specials that you know of that have a spooky vibe, but you don't ever hear anybody talk about? And our dear friend Hilda, our dear friend Hilda, Steam and Kittens, she reached out with 2 wonderful suggestions. She said My Babysitter is a Vampire, which is a classic. I believe that's a Disney Channel special. And then Mona the Vampire, which I think she said is UK or France based. Yeah, so and I'll be sure to add those to our list in our other show notes. But yeah, if you guys have any further ones that we should check out that we didn't mention, definitely throw them our way. We're always looking for those fun, family-friendly specials that have a little bit of macabre in them.
Oh yes, always fun times.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, kind of to like wind down after Disneyland, we decided to marathon the Resident Evil movies, live action movies.
Yeah. Thanks
That's
to some inspiration from Girl That's Scary.
Yeah, next to Girl
We
That's
were
Scary.
inspired to go back and
Definitely watch
rewatch them because
Yeah.
it's been quite a while.
And I came to realize I think I was seeing like the first 2, and then I was seeing the rest of them. So in the background of somebody who's played the Resident Evil games, most of them all the way through. The Resident Evil movies did not go quite par to par with the games. They're enjoyable. They're enjoyable movies with the title of Resident Evil kind of thing. They have the zombie aspect. They have the whole Umbrella Corporation aspect. So there's some Easter eggs here and there for it kind of thing. So if you have not seen them and you're being like, oh, I don't know, but you're looking to be like the game, those movies with Mila Mokovich, I think his name, Mokovich.
Mila Jovovich.
There we go, Mila Jovovich. Not the best choice of movies to go with.
It's great if you're like, okay, I've never heard of Resident Evil before. You want just a quick dunk introduction. I feel the first one's a great one.
Even if you have heard of Resident Evil but never actually like gone to the game, it's a good little like
yeah.
I said,
or you don't want to
Easter
invest
eggs
in the
in here and there kind of thing situation. The newest movie came out, Welcome to Raccoon City.
Mm-hmm.
I feel is one of the better representations of the game to Resident Evil, but that's personal opinion.
Yeah.
I could be wrong completely.
No, I agree with you, especially after having watched the 5
Mm-hmm.
serial together. Yeah, I think Welcome to Raccoon City is probably my favorite.
So,
and now this is coming from, I haven't played the games, but I have watched Eric. I played 2 of them.
Yeah.
Um.
And she's also played the later half of the games kind of thing.
Yeah, and I've only played the later half, so
we're slowly working back on the movies.
But watching Raccoon City was actually really fun. I enjoyed it. It had good pacing.
Yeah.
I liked how the characters were presented and represented. But like, I can't remember what was my grading scale for the films. I think it was 2.
Oh,
wait, 2, 3.
No, you're like 2, 1.
No. Because one of the other ones, it was 2 or 3 was really. I think 2 was number 1.
You enjoyed 2 the most.
Mm-hmm.
And then
so
3 is in the desert. 4 is in the jail.
Oh yeah, that one's like weird, right?
The jail one?
So yeah, 2, 1, 4, 3, 5.
And then
I think that's right. I didn't like the desert one that much.
Mm-hmm.
It was really kind of slow. 2 I really enjoyed. No, it's 2, 4, 1.
3, 5,
Because
6.
yeah, in the prison's pretty
There's 6
fun.
movies, right?
No, there's 5. It's the final chapter, isn't it? Whatever. The final chapter was terrible.
It's
I didn't like it.
It's a way to wrap it up. And, again, there's little Easter eggs there from different Resident Evil games through it. It was a weird way to wrap it up, but it's a wrap up kind of thing and whatnot. But anyway, this is just our personal opinions. If you guys have different ones, completely fine with us, kind of thing.
Or come have the discussion with us.
You know, whatever you want to talk, like you guys want to talk about it, we're welcome to sit down and talk about it. But that was just our personal opinion.
Yeah.
On the matter.
It was fun revisiting it.
Yeah, it was definitely an enjoyable experience kind of thing to watch them all and to go with that aspect of things.
We still need to rewatch Welcome to Raccoon City.
I mean, I guess we can. Kind of thing. I promise a little monster that I'll play Resident Evil 1 this weekend. So.
Yeah, she loved watching you play 0.
Mm-hmm. So we'll play 1 now.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so let's talk about our cocktail now that we got sidetracked.
I know, let's talk about this lovely, lovely, lovely cocktail.
Yum.
So, Loch Ness Monster. Not Loch Ness Monster.
Loch Ness
Loch
Monster.
Ness Monster. Our ingredients involve 2 ounces of Hendrick's gin, or as just like to call it, Schmendrick's. 3/4 ounce of lime, freshly squeezed preferred. Half an ounce of honey simple syrup, half an ounce of Midori, and cucumber slices. Okay. We went with the Hendrick's gin because Scotland's origin, the cucumber to complement the cool looking water. As you guys can see in this video, you guys will see in the post, it's a very murky, kind of greenish looking.
Yeah, and the goal was to make it like not a transparent, clear, pretty cocktail. We wanted it to look like murky lake water.
Yeah, like if you're in a lock, like trying to like find this creature and you look in the water, it's like I can't see anything because it's weird and colored. And
so the color comes from the Midori and the lime.
Yes.
Which really, the lime is so nice in this.
It kind of like melts out the sweetness of the Midori and the honey simple syrup kind of thing. And then we tried a different syrup. We tried a regular simple syrup and at
one point we were topping it with like different soda waters.
Just to give it more of a volume kind of thing, but it wasn't feeling it.
Just couldn't quite nail it. And then we were like, well, what if we worked in our little Loch Ness Monster from Cocktail Critters, topped it with some ice, and then just poured our original mix without worrying about topping it off. And that was the golden moment there.
Kind of thing. You guys see in our cocktails here, we have little chief cucumber slices. We just did it for more aesthetically purposes.
Yeah, we put
It
some
doesn't
cucumber peeling.
Doesn't add to it.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes it look more...
It's a garnish. It's literally a pretty garnish. And it's totally optional.
Yeah, totally optional.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
But it makes it look fun.
Yeah.
And we just... Cocktail Critters is one of our sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
We have not sponsors, affiliates. We do a affiliate code with them. You can go to our support us page on our website, and you can get like these cute little Loch Ness monsters, ice cubes.
Ice molds.
Yeah, what do you?
Ice stones.
Whiskey stones.
Whiskey
there we
stones.
go. Or they have these adorable like. This one has the whiskey stone, the Loch Ness whiskey stone in a whiskey glass. So that's kind of the vibe. We've talked about them before. And we have a coupon code on there. It's Critters15. You get 15% off your order when you make it. And if you click on our affiliate link, we get a little kickback from that. So,
Yes, so
check them out. If anything, even if you don't want anything, they have some really cute pins.
they do have those
And
too.
they've been expanding into apparel and other stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So check them out.
definitely check them out.
Tasting notes. Unlike most Scotch drinks.
Scotch drinks?
Scotch drinks.
Scottish drinks?
Scottish drinks.
Okay.
You would think most Scotch drinks involve Scotch whiskey and those kind of things. So a little more harder to drink, I feel. Because it's just palatable wise, that's what Scotch is like. This is very refreshing
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Nice summer drink.
It makes me, if you want to put like an image to it, it does make me feel like a morning like boat ride through the loch. Like, it's
I
nice
feel
and
like
chilly,
if you're
refreshing.
hanging out on the knells of the loch, hanging out on those hills in a misty morning
Yeah.
with this in your glass, just looking out across the lake.
Maybe Loch Ness will come and say hi, be like, hey, can I taste it?
Yeah. This is what this drink feels like to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And why not? It's very enjoyable, very refreshing.
It's got a little tardiness to it. The honey simple syrup, actually, it's more of the flavor than the sweetness in there. So it's not a very sweet drink, ironically, considering there's Midori in here.
Yeah.
And I usually feel Midori's overpowering, but you just get it on the tail end
Yeah.
of your taste of your palate. Thank you.
So where can they find this lovely, lovely cocktail?
As always, you can find the recipe for this. Oh my goodness. I just can't get it together lately. So you can find this recipe alongside all our other recipes on our website, sipsandspirits.com. We have a little cocktail tab there. You just click on that and you can find our recipe.
Bam.
Yeah. If not, we always link to the recipe as well in our show notes. So just follow that show note link in whatever platform you're listening to us on, and it'll take you to the recipe as well.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, so let's get to this cryptid. Lovely, lovely cryptid.
Woohoo!
So, once again, our lovely cards are from Clash of the Cryptids. A deck from Afterlight Comics. Okay. And so we pulled Bianca pulled the Loch Ness Monster. And according to them, their descriptions is originating from Scotland, UK. It was rubbery blackish gray skin, about 20 feet long, and has a serpentine body that is typically for sea serpents and the lake monsters. Furnished with humps along its length and one or more sets of paddles, or sometimes stumpy legs. It may have straggly mane running down its neck. Straggly, not strangely. Straggly mane running down its neck. Fear factor 10, strength 95, stealth 9, deadliness 30, mythos 10. Lovely, lovely card.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Now, we've done an episode on Nessie and Nessie type creatures before. If you guys go back to our first 10 episodes, when we did...
our first 10.
What was that? What
The wee beastie.
The wee beastie. We talked about Loch Ness and a whole lot of different Nessies in this nest. And I know I spoke of some of the sightings of it, and so I think this episode we're gonna go more into the sightings of it versus the actual stories behind it. I mean, the sightings are the stories, kind of thing. So, and that aspect of things. So let's start with the quick description again. Loch Ness Monster, affectionately known as Nessie, is a creature of Scottish folklore that is said to inhabit Loch Ness in the Scottish Highlands. One day I wish to visit. It is often described as a large, long neck with one or more humps protruding from the water. I was like, when I read that, I was like, is it a camel? Popular interest and belief in this creature has varied since it was brought to worldwide attention in 1933. So it's been around.
There have been reported sightings
For 90 years.
Well, yeah, so that was not more recent, but I heard there were sightings as early as 576, 567.
Okay, there's published sightings since 1933.
There we go.
So,
I was like, you're messing with my Guess Who.
in my come August, it'll be at 90 years since they've been published the first sightings.
Whoa, that's crazy to think about.
Okay. So there's a lot of sightings here, and I just wrote down the actual sightings. I didn't go into like the whole
Cliff
debunking
notes
it of it, because I was like, okay, I'll get to that afterwards. So the first one in August 33, the Courier published the accounts of George Spicer. Public interest skyrocketed, with countless letters being sent detailing the different sightings describing the monster, a monster fish, a sea serpent, or a dragon. With the final name ultimately settling as Loch Ness Monster, since 1940s, the creature has been affectionately called Nessie. So, it came out published, and all of a sudden everybody's like, hey, I've seen it. Put me in the paper.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're right. So, sightings of Nessie began early in 565 Common Era. According to Adamant, writing about this event about a century after the actual sighting, an Irish monk, Saint Columba, was staying in Britain north of the Forth Clyde when they encountered the locals burying a man by the river Ness. Inquiring about it, the residents told the tale about a man being attacked by a water beast. Kind of thing. The story goes on how the priest was out there, and then there was something pulling one of his men, and he kind of did like a sign of a cross or something, and it's like, stop, and then he let go of the person.
Ah, okay.
So there's a whole like maybe it's like a kind of demon creature. I don't know. In October 1871 or 72, D. Mackenzie of Balnian reportedly saw an object resembling a log or an upturned boat, wriggling and churning up the water. This account was not published until 1934, when Mackenzie sent his story in the letter of Robert Gould shortly after popular interest in the monster increased. So this guy saw it, and he's like, hey, I'm been crazy, but then he starts hearing stories, and he's like, hey.
Well, then maybe it's safe to share my story.
Maybe people won't think I'm crazy. In 1888, Mason Alexander MacDonald of Abercan sighted a large stubby-legged animal surfacing from the loch and propelling itself within 50 yards of the shore where MacDonald stood. MacDonald reported his sightings of the Loch Ness water to the Loch Ness water bailiff, Alex Campbell, and described the creature as looking like a salamander. So I guess that whole like lengthy kind of looking. Okay. The best known article that first caught the most attention was published in May 2nd, 1933 in the Inverness Quarry about a large beast or a whale-like fish. This article discussed the sight by Aldi McKay seeing an enormous creature with the body of a whale rolling in the water in the loch while she and her husband John were driving on the 882 on April 15th, 1933.
Nice.
So we've done that where we like drive by and it's like, hey, is there something out there?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Modern interest in monster was sparked by a sighting on July 22nd, 1933, when George Spicer and his wife saw the most extraordinary form of an animal. Spicer described it as the nearest approach to a dragon or prehistoric animal that I've seen in my life. So now we're getting the whole like, okay, dinosaur maybe?
Yeah. A plesiosaur kind of.
A plesiosaurus, yeah. On August 4th, 1933, the Courier published a report of Spicer's sighting that sparked interest in supposed sighting, leading to solidification of the actual name, Loch Ness Monster. November 12th, 1933, the first alleged photograph of Nessie was taken by Hugh Grant. January 5th, 1934.
I'm guessing not the actor.
Not Hugh Grant, sorry. Hugh Gray.
I was like, Hugh Grant, huh?
Hugh Grant, yes. Next person, Arthur Grant, Flamethrower nearly hit the creature while approaching Abercon near the northeastern end of the loch at about 1 a.m. in the moonlight night. So they were in the boat. I think it was him.
Mm-hmm.
Taken by Robert Kenneth Wilson, a London gynecologist, took what is called the surgeon's photograph, published in the Daily Mail on April 21st, 1934.
Is this the popular,
Yes.
like the iconic photo?
Yes. Wilson refused to have his name associated with the photo, let it to be known the surgeon's photo. So because he didn't want to be like, hey, this guy's crazy, I think it's Loch Ness. So he's like, it's called a surgeon's photo.
Mm-hmm.
For 60 years, it was considered the proof of existence of Nessie, but skeptics dismissed it as driftwood, an elephant, or other, or a bird.
An elephant in the loch, huh?
So
I didn't know there's elephants. Are there elephants in Scotland?
But I did look into that, why people thought it was an elephant. There was a circus close by all the time.
Oh.
And apparently elephants escaped.
Okay.
And so they thought there was one of the elephants happened to go swimming.
Oh.
I was like, coincidence.
That's interesting.
Yeah, right? I was like, elephant?
Yeah, I was
there's
like...
no elephants in Scotland.
I'm pretty sure that's
based
in India.
There's large people there. They're not elephant size. But
Okay.
anyway, but yeah, so
okay, a circus would make sense though, because I was like, "What is it? An escaped elephant from a zoo, maybe?" But no, it's a circus.
On May 29th, 1938, South African tourist G.E. Taylor filmed something in the loch for 3 minutes on a 16mm color film. The film was obtained by scientist writer Morris Burton, who did not show it to other researchers. A single frame was published in the 1961 book, The Elusive Monster.
Ooh, I didn't know about that.
On December 19th, 1954, sonar readings were taken by a fishing boat, Rival 3. Its crew noted a large object keeping pace with the vessel in the depths of 146 meters, or 479 feet. Previous sonar attempts were inconclusive or negative. Peter McNabb at Urquhart Case on July 29th, 1955, took a photograph that depicted two long black humps in the water. It appeared in Constance White's 1957 book on the subject, and it was published on 1958 in the Weekly Scotsman. Aeronautical engineers Tim Dinsdale filmed a hump that left a wake crossing Loch Ness in 1960. May 21st, 1977, Anthony Doc Shields, camping next to Urquhart Castle, took some of the clearest pictures of the monster until today. Shields was a magician and a psychic and claimed to have summoned the animal out of the water. I think he was the one who borrowed the animatronic of Nessie and put it in the water. I think I wrote that down somewhere. But I think he was the one. On May 26, 2007, 55-year-old laboratory technician Gordon Holmes videotaped what he said was this jet black thing about 14 meters, 46 feet long, moving fairly fast in the water. Okay? On August 24th, 2011, Loch Ness boat captain Marcus Atkinson photographed a sonar image of a 1.5 meter wide, or 4.9 feet, unidentified object that seemed to follow his boat for 2 minutes at a depth of 23 meters or 75 feet. August 3rd, 12. Skipper, right then I left. Skipper George Edwards claimed that a photo he took on November 2011 shows Nessie. Edwards claims to have searched for the monster for 26 years and reportedly spent 60 hours per week on the loch aboard his boat, taking tourists for rides on the lake. So he was constantly going bull rides and finally took a picture.
Like a Scooby-Doo movie.
I know, right? On August 27th, 2013, tourist Elder presented a 5-minute video of a mysterious wave in the loch. According to Elder, the wave was produced by a 4.5 meter, 15 feet solid black object just under the surface of the water. April 19th, 2014, it was reported that a satellite image on Apple Maps showed what appeared to be a large creature just below the surface of Loch Ness. I think I mentioned that last time.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2015, Google Street View added a feature that users can explore the loch above and below the water. Reportedly, Google spent a week in the Loch Ness collecting imagery.
That's cool.
I tried doing it. I can get on top of the water to like move up and down the log. I couldn't get to go on the water. So I gotta figure out how to do that.
That's cool.
Kind of thing. So
That's cool.
a lot of cool different sightings.
Yeah.
A lot of different people seeing it.
A lot of different descriptions
Here's
too.
my problem.
Yep.
The debunkedness.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the debunkedness.
Naysayer.
Some of the debunked people were saying like, oh, that can't be anything because it's not making any ripples in the water. Okay?
But like
And
in
then-
a lake?
And then secondly...
How many fish are living and the water doesn't move at all?
And then secondly,
Uh-huh.
they will look at a picture, and not the same people, but other people will be like,
Right.
that's not a thing because it's making too many ripples in the water. I'm like, make up your mind. Is it because it's too big or is it too small? Make up your mind. Kind
Maybe
of thing.
they're the babies,
Kind
right?
of thing, you know? And
Because let's be realistic. There are a very limited number of creatures living on our planet that can live for this long. So, and I'm a big Nessie fangirl, okay? I love Nessie. Case in point.
yeah, I mean, if you go back to like
But
565,
right. Yeah. So
That's like
clearly
1,500 years.
one creature's not living that long. However, there's a possibility that there's multiples living and breeding and moving on. We have so much unexplored in our waters.
what was the Alaskan cryptid called?
The Kalapalooic?
The Kalapalooic. Maybe it's like the Kalapalooic. And it lures people in and turns them into Nessies.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like, other than what you were talking about with the priest, like,
Mhm.
doing a prayer and then it warding off the beast. I mean, the beast could have just been freaked out by... I always view Nessie as more of, like, a creature than, like,
Well, like
a
even,
mythological being
even
that
like,
has... Does that make sense?
looking at his mouth, it doesn't have sharp teeth. You
Well,
know?
yeah. Well, because what's
it
it going to eat in the loch? It's probably vegetarian,
Yeah.
eating plants and whatever.
It's always described as something who like you said, Plesiosaurus.
Plesiosaur?
Plesiosaurus, and I believe those are not carnivores.
Yeah.
Creatures. I mean,
They're-
they probably fish. They probably eat fish, kind of thing.
And vegetarians.
Vegetarian. So they probably just eat seaweed and stuff like that. You know, maybe plankton in the bottom. Most large sea creatures do consume a lot of food,
Uh-huh.
but they consume the tiniest of foods.
Right.
Like think of like whale sharks.
Well, yeah. I mean, they eat
They
plankton.
eat plankton.
That's what they eat. They're these huge, ginormous creatures. I mean, I love your mom, but it cracked me up how she was like scared to be so close to it, like it was gonna eat her. It was like they can't.
Yeah, they can't.
They don't want to.
Kind of thing.
But yeah, like the bigger they get, they don't. Their diets are unique.
I think that's evolutionary like development kind of thing, because if you think about it, like small creatures, not necessarily small creatures, but you think like a hyena, you think like a wild dog, they eat like a wolf, they eat bigger things than them.
Mhm.
You know, they consume the meat and whatnot. But the bigger they are, the smaller things they eat. Like a bear eats a fish. kind of thing. They know. I don't know if they actually eat honey, but you know,
Right.
like
Some of them do,
The
yeah.
cartoons they eat honey or berries, kind of thing. So versus them trying to eat like a mountain lion.
Like black bears do.
Yeah, kind
Eat
of
honey.
thing. So it's like, you know, it's these big creatures are eating smaller things,
Prey,
kind of
yeah.
thing. So it's like, so it's because of survival thing. So it's like where they're at, they learn to adapt to what they can eat there.
Right.
So what's in the loch? Small fish,
Plants.
plants,
Lots of vegetation.
lots of vegetation. So they become vegetarian by evolution. But yeah, you know,
It's fun to think that there is some mythical creature living.
it's hard to say there isn't, because can you honestly say the whole loch has been explored?
I mean, I know that they've they've done like sonar screenings of the loch, but they'd get like different readings each
Each
time.
time because it's
who's
so-
to who's to say that there isn't like some secret under way that comes in from the ocean?
Yeah.
Right? I
Also-
mean,
Yeah,
anything's possible, really.
it's cryptid. You know what you can do.
it is a dream to go there one day. Maybe
Oh,
we'll
yes.
have to save that. We'll do a Nessie anniversary tour. We'll go in 2033.
Well, like I said, I want to go to Scholar Islands.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah,
goal.
we've got a list that
Yeah.
keeps growing of all these different Scotch distilleries to visit.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't know. And I love Nessie representation in like movies and films. Like, honestly, you're reading these sightings, and I keep thinking there's a little short, you can watch it on Disney Plus, called The Ballad of Nessie. It's narrated by John Cleese. And it's the sweetest story. It makes me cry, but I feel like everything makes me cry lately.
Yes.
Like, I was crying during the
crybaby.
Twilight bark in 101 Dalmatians. It's like, I don't know why this is making me cry, but it is. But then there's the film, The Water Horse,
Mhm.
and it actually kind of goes into the animatronic submersible too.
Mhm.
That they actually, like, the boy who found Nessie, like a little baby Nessie, essentially, like, he teams up with some people to make it look like a hoax, so they'll leave the little water horse
What
alone.
is this Scooby-Doo episode?
But I mean, and then there's a Scooby-Doo movie
Mhm.
that's about the mystery of the Loch Ness Monster.
Because there's money down there.
And it's like there is a animatronic Nessie, but also a real life Nessie. And that's the ones I was like, oh, and then in Monster High, I love the Nessie in there because it's really funny, right? Her Loch Ness is supposed to be really shy and like hide their secret, but the daughter of the Loch Ness Monster, she loves to do photo bombs. And it's like my favorite because she'll just come in and be like, photo bomb. And he's like, you were in the newspapers again. And it's adorable. But yeah, I mean, it's a very fascinating creature. And I think the most appealing part is just having that little hope and dream that there could very possibly be something there. You don't know, and you can't prove or disprove it either way. Because like you said, all the experts who keep trying to debunk it can't even agree.
I don't know, like what makes it like a debunkable thing.
Yes, it's debunked, or no, it's not debunked, or
This is the reason, this is the opposite reason now. It's like really weird kind of thing. But anyway, that's Nessie.
do you guys have any fun Nessie
Facts.
facts for us?
Have you guys seen Nessie? You guys ever visited the loch?
I'm curious about all those videos. There's like a lot of
There's a few videos out there, but some of them I've not published because, like the one that Professor got, and they just showed us a clip of it, but not the rest of it. It's like in his
I've
garage
seen
somewhere.
that photo. I think I got the book like in a book fair once. It was like, it must have been like my first cryptid book because it talked about like Bigfoot and Loch Ness and all these different kinds of monsters, and they had like photo evidence to try and like not really prove it exists, but be like, well, can you can come up with an excuse and say it could be this or that, but can you say that for certain, right? And I've seen the photo from the sonar thing you were talking about when they did that sweep, and I've seen that photo. It was in that book,
Yeah.
along with a couple other ones, and I was like, I don't know. You have to have an imagination either way to debunk it or to believe it. So
Hey, if some people think their boyfriends will change, I think you can believe that Loch Ness is real.
oh, honey.
Sorry.
It's okay. So we'll be sure to put all these details in our show notes. And
Yeah.
anything you're curious about, you can leave a comment on there, or reach out to us in your favorite way.
Yeah.
And are we ready to do another?
Just a quick question.
Yes.
Which do you believe more?
Which do I believe more?
The picture of Nessie's or the pictures of Bigfoot?
Oh, Nessie.
Why? No, why. Never mind.
I don't have a why, but personally, I find Nessie more believable than Bigfoot.
Oh, okay.
Water is a great camouflage environment.
It is.
We are still discovering giant creatures
Giant.
in the deeps.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible.
It's possible.
Honestly, I firmly believe it's a possibility. Whereas Bigfoot, I mean, unless you're going into like those jungles, right? Where they've
Forest.
gone. No, I'm thinking.
Okay.
I'm going more specific to like these hidden jungles that are cut off from mankind, where
Right.
there's these like cartoonish sounding deadly snakes and a hidden monkey temple, which they really did. This was all like a real thing.
And like,
it's like the Lost Monkey Temple. I think there's some sort of documentary on it.
And a colony of spiders.
I mean, yeah. So unless it's something like that, like Bigfoot in particular, I find a hard time believing. Same for like a Yeti in the like snowy mountains. But like, and I know there's like a jungle version of the Bigfoot. That's the most believable of those three to me.
Okay.
You can disagree with me. That's fine. But I don't know. I feel like there's signs and forests or I don't know. You're not hearing unless it's like insected. This is what I was gonna say. Unless it's like insects, you're not hearing like discoveries of larger animals in above water terrain.
Yeah.
I mean, someone prove me wrong. I'm happy to listen. I love learning about that stuff. But I'm just saying. I'm just that's where I'm like.
I was just curious.
Bigfoot is like
Nessie,
still possibility.
I was just curious. That's all.
So that's where I stand on that.
Okay.
And I'm sure you guys are like that logic is flawed.
Very flawed. Anyway, you ready for Guess Who?
Yeah, I'm ready. You ready?
Yes.
All right. It's our final Cryptid Guess Who for this set of 10 episodes.
Yay.
Ooh.
Exciting.
All right. An experiment gone awry between a man and a goat. A monster or a demon? It's put up to a vote. Said to roam Texas, Louisiana, or Maryland? Which being you encounter, the location will command. So
What?
So depending on your what place you're in will determine what exactly this particular creature is.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to look it up.
I mean, that's your job.
That is my job, yes. I gotta start doing some research on that.
But I had to do a little research to put these together, so.
I was, yeah.
You're like, what?
Yeah, mostly. So, if you know what this lovely, lovely creature is, leave your guess on Instagram, our website, or email us, and we'll share your guess our next cryptid episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And are we ready to wrap this up?
We are ready to wrap this up.
It's time for our last call.
Last call. Thanks for sipping along with us. We want to keep those spirits flowing, so please be sure to show your support by reviewing and subscribing to our podcast. If you enjoy the show, be sure to share it with others.
Yes, please do. We have an email newsletter to keep up with us. It's the best place to do so, in my opinion. Been a little lax with the social media this last 10 episodes, or in this 10 episode grouping. Life just becomes a thing, but we have really been working hard on that newsletter. And you can join us via sipsandspirits.com/happy hour.
Happy hour.
Yay!
Same thing. Find us on all podcast hosts or YouTube, our website, sipsandspirits.com, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, all same handle, Sips and Spirits.
Mm-hmm.
We're more active on Instagram than others, but we will respond to all comments on every
Eventually,
occasion.
yes.
Eventually to all things.
And for those who have been leaving comments on YouTube, I do apologize. I have learned recently there's actually a spot I can see all the comments that haven't been responded to. And
we're learning.
we're still learning after 39 episodes.
Yep.
So, or wait, 38 episodes. Sorry,
38.
We're not there yet.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the comments coming in there. I mean, we appreciate them, but I get to see them and reply to them, so I get really excited when I see them, but I also feel bad when I'm seeing them like a week later. But they do get responded to, so
yes,
don't be discouraged if it took us a while.
Mm-hmm.
We get there eventually. And are we ready to close our tab?
Yes, we are. Anyway.
All right. Until next time, cheers.